Hola, clase. So on Friday, we filled out this side of the worksheet about subject pronouns. Hopefully, you remember that subject pronouns are words to indicate who is doing the action in a sentence. They can be divided into singular or plural, and they can be divided into first, second, or third person. For example, first person singular is yo, meaning I. I do an action. Whereas third person singular would be él, ella, or usted, he, she, or that you formal. I do want to take a moment to mention that if you are using a person's name, that would also go in this third box. It's not a pronoun, it's a proper noun. That's why we didn't list it. But if somebody's name is involved, it goes in the third person singular. Or if there are multiple names involved, it goes in the third person plural. So if we travel to the back, you'll see conjugación de ser on the top. And this is where we need to talk about verbs and the word conjugate. So, a verb, we've already explained, is either an action or a linking word. Usually we think of it as action. I run, she walks, they talk, he hits the ball. But there's also linking verbs like to be, to have, etc., that show something in a sentence. So, like, I have a backpack, you are a student. These are also verbs. Verbs have to be conjugated. Conjugate means, and I'm going to type it in here so that you can see it nice and easily. Conjugate means to change a verb to match the subject, that is who is doing the action, and the tense. Most of us know about tense from our English classes, things like future and past and present. So we aren't going to be dealing with tense too much in this class. We're going to stay in present tense, but we are going to change verbs to match the subject. Now, you may think, what do you mean? Verbs don't change. Yeah, they do. If you think about it, you don't say I be, you be, he or she be something. You don't say I is a teacher unless you want to speak poor grammar. You say I am a teacher. You don't say you is, you say you are. You change verbs to match the subject. And in Spanish, you change them more often than we do in English. The very first verb we're going to learn is ser, which in English would translate to be. I'm going to type this in red. Okay, to be. Now, if you're going to use the verb ser for yo, if you want to say I am, you're going to say yo soy. This is why we said soy de for I am from. You'll notice when we did soy de, we dropped the yo, and that's because soy can only go with yo. And so in Spanish, you can drop the subject because the verb already tells you who is doing it. If it helps you, you might put below here or off to the side, I am. That is what yo soy means. For two, you've already learned this as well. If you think about it, you answered soy de to the question, de donde eres? Where are you from? The part that was the R was eres. To eres. And again, if it helps you, you might add in you familiar. Is that kind of you are. Down here, I've got he, she, you formal, and I have nombre. Nombre just means name. As I said, if you would have a singular name like Maria, Juan, George, Fred, it goes in this box. In English, we would say he or she or Maria is. In Spanish, it's very similar. It's the word es. So again, you might put down here he, she, you, formal, is. Okay? Nosotros means we. And again, you might use somebody's name EO. So I could say John EO, and it's the same as if I was saying we, nosotros. John and I, same as we. The Spanish word that you use for we are is somos. Again, you might put either below or off to the side. We are. For vosotros, we're going to use sois. Again, if it helps you, put the English. Y'all are. Now, a lot of you are probably thinking, well, we use are. Like, you have four different words for are. In English, we use the same word a bunch of times. In Spanish, they don't. They use a different word each time. So you just have to get used to that. Ellos, ellas, ustedes son. Or they are. And again, if you have multiple names, you would use this list or this spot on the chart. Now, what you should notice is that these 6 line up with these 6. They line up with this chart. So if you're asking yourself, which form of ser do I use? Ask yourself, is it singular, this column, or plural, this column? Is it first person? Is there a yo or a we involved? Is it second person? Is there a tú or a vosotros involved? If not, it's probably third person. There's a he, she, you formal, or a name involved. I want you to pause the video right now and I want you to take a couple of minutes and try these below to see if you can figure out which subject goes with each form of ser. And then go ahead and try the bottom section where you try to put the form of ser in each line. Pause the video now. Did you give yourself enough time to do it? Let's check your answers, shall we? So here you saw the word eres. Eres matches up with two. So you should have written two, T-U with an accent, in the box or on the line. Yeah, I'm writing with the pen with a mouse, so you're going to deal with my terrible handwriting. All right, so the next one we had somos. Well, I don't see somos here. I look over here. There's somos. Nosotros is what I want. So I'm going to write nosotros in the box or on the line. Oof. Look at that terrible handwriting. Well, you can feel better about your own. Son maestros. Now this one gets a little tricky. Go to son and you see there's a whole bunch of choices. But generally speaking, we're going to use ellos or ellas, and we can look at the last couple of letters to help us out. OS means it's either all men or a mixed group. So we're going to use ellos that also ends in OS. Ellos. Blank es Luis. Well, we find S and we have the same problem. But again, we're going to probably use L or ella. Luis is a boy's name, so we're going to use L. Son, Luisa, y Elena. So again, we have son, but this time we have Luisa and Elena. Both are girls' names, so we're going to use ellas. soy amiga de Ernesto. Well, soy goes with yo, so you should have yo in that box. Es la maestra de español. La maestra. See those ahs? That indicates it's a girl, so we're going to use ella. Oh, just a little bit more of me using this pen and writing terribly. Eres estudiante. Eres goes with tu. It's all about just matching it up. S, so we're in this box. Amigo indicates it's a boy, so we use L. Make sure you got that accent both on tu and on L. It does make a different word if you don't have the accent, though. Son estudiantes is tricky. Estudiantes doesn't end in OS or AS, so you don't necessarily know if you have a male or female group. Generally, I opt for EOS if I'm not sure because it allows for a mixed group, but EAS would also be correct. I would also accept ustedes here for you all are students. Do you have those answers correct? If you do, feel free to give yourself a little smiley face, a little sticker, give yourself a little thumbs up, feel good about your life, okay? All right. Scrolling down here. Here you had to give me the form of ser. So you had to look at who the subject was. Jose says, Hola, yo blank Jose. I am Jose. Well, again, yo goes with soy. So you should put soy in the blank. Very good. Hola, Jose. Yo soy Andrea. I am Andrea. He is Miguel. So L goes with S. So hopefully you wrote S in the box. Hola, ¿de dónde blank ustedes? From where, just like our de dónde eres, from where, but instead of asking where are you one person, where are you singular person, we're asking where are you all from? Well, I go up here and I find ustedes, and ustedes is paired with son. Now, you'll notice that in this one, the subject was after the blank. In questions, the subject is always after the verb. So that's why you have to pay attention to that with questions. Son. Nosotros, I'm climbing up here. I see somos. Somos de Cuba. De donde blank two. So I want the one that goes with two. There it is. Eres is what I'm looking for. And we have one more yo again. If you notice, we have the same one as before. Yo soy. Oof, that was bad. De Guatemala. So if you keep this chart handy, both this chart and the one on the back, which we already filled in, you should have an easy time with your homework. And again, if you did a good job, you feel like it, go right ahead. Give yourself that smiley face. Make yourself feel good. So at this point, you should start on your Edge Elastic homework if you haven't already. Remember that it is due Thursday. Go ahead and give it your best, and it better be done when we walk into class. If you have questions, por favor, pregúntame, ask me. Feel free to email me. Otherwise, adios. Buena suerte.